The question I want to ask today is the church perishing? In Proverbs 29, we hear that a people without a vision will perish. And as I was thinking about that, I also was praying and thinking about there's a story of Jesus and the disciples in the boat. And as the night goes on, Jesus falls asleep, the storms pick up, and the disciples are so afraid, they say, "Lord, do you not care that we're perishing?" And one of the things I often reflect on is that sometimes we take our eyes off of Jesus, we take our eyes off of the vision. It's very easy to start to feel like, man, we're drowning, we're gonna die, we're sinking. And I love the story here because Jesus, he calms the storm, he calms the sea, and the disciples are amazed. But I think oftentimes in life, and whether that's in ministry or just part of our everyday life, we want things to be easy. We want those moments where it feels like, oh, everything just kind of fell in place. One of the things I've learned in my life is that anything worth living for is worth dying for. And what I mean by that is when we look at the life of Jesus Christ, he came to earth and ultimately he accomplished what he was here to do through his life, through his suffering, through his death, through his resurrection, through the descent of the Holy Spirit upon us. You know, we often kind of want the resurrection. We want the Holy Spirit to be poured out upon us, but we forget that first there was the death, there was the suffering of Jesus. And so to answer that question is no, obviously God hasn't abandoned the church. God hasn't forgotten the church, but sometimes we take our eyes off of him. We take our eyes off of the fact that to get to the resurrection, to get to Pentecost, we need to endure the cross. And so, as we kind of celebrate what God has done through Redeemed Online, through our Advent series, through our past Lenten Advent series, and all the things that we've done, I feel like it's a moment where we can look back and reflect and think about all the good things God has done. And I also stop and I look at my life and I think about what God is inviting me and calling me to do on a regular daily basis in vagabond missions. And so grateful to invest my time in something where I feel like God is allowing me to use all my gifts, all my talents and my strengths. Part of when Redeemed Online started was kind of this vision and this thought for what we could do with video to reach people, to introduce people in a simple way to Jesus through social media and through short video messages. And God's done so much through that. But I feel like every day he invites me more and more into what I'm doing with Vagabond Missions. Tomorrow I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, what that looks like. So I invite you today to pray about what is the vision that God is giving you for your life? What does that look like? And ultimately, just to remember anything that we want to do in life, especially when it comes to God, to mission, to ministry, it's always an invitation to the resurrection and Pentecost, but it's always an invitation to pick up our cross, to follow him, and to imitate Jesus Christ.